During the 2019-2020 season, the Pfumvudza concept was introduced within the LFSP program. The concept is being implemented across all LFSP clusters in Manicaland, Midlands, and Mashonaland. The Pfumvudza concept was conceptualized and pioneered by Foundations for Farming in Zimbabwe.
Ndiri mumwewo wevakapractice Pfumvudza. Ndakaiita Pfumvudza panzvimbo mbiri. Ndichida kuona musiyano wekuti zvinomboita sei. Nemanzwira andakaita ndakanzwa kuti Pfumvudza ine goal, saka ndaidawo kungoonawo kuti zvinobuda zvakaita sei.
The Pfumvudza concept guarantees food security from a small manageable piece of land measuring 39 by 16 square meters, needing only $50 for a complete package of inputs. The package includes 12 kgs of lime, 16 kgs of basal fertilizer, 210 kgs of manure, 2 kgs of maize seed, 2 by 8 kgs of ammonium nitrate fertilizer, fertilizer cups, and an instruction pamphlet. The Pfumvudza concept is climate smart, and the plot can be mulched using locally available resources, and best of all, in the event of a dry spell, supplementary watering can guarantee a bumper harvest. Land preparation is recommended to begin between May and July, starting with winter weeding. After harvesting, farmers must leave crop residue on the field if at all possible. Mark out a straight line measuring 39 meters at one end of the field up and down the slope, and another one measuring 16 meters from the first one measuring 39 meters. Place small pegs or mark the soil along these lines at the desired spacing of 75 centimeters, giving a total of 52 pegs or marks per line, translating to 52 rows. Stretch strings across the field and slope from the peg at one end to the corresponding peg at the other end to mark out the planting row where you will dig planting stations. Along the planting rows, use a measuring stick or string, wire or chain marked at the appropriate spacing of 60 centimeters. The marked station, spaced at 60 centimeters apart, will total 28. You can tie bottle caps or knots onto the string to mark the planting station spacing. Use a hard-covered hook at the four corners of the plot to ensure that the plot is a true rectangle with 90 degrees at each corner. Stretch the rope across the prevailing slope using the two pegs to anchor it. Keep it well clear of the ground so it remains straight in spite of trash and clothes brought up during the digging of the basins. Start at the first node at one end of the string facing uphill and dig each planting station about 15 centimeters long, 15 centimeters wide, and 15 centimeters deep, keeping the soil dug from the planting station on the downslope side of the station to use for cover later on. When the planting stations for that row have been made, use the sticks to measure 75 centimeters to the next row. Move the pegs and stretch out the string between them. Repeat the process of digging holes row after row until you get to the end of the marked points. Both organic and inorganic fertilizer can be applied soon after land preparation and before the rains, normally from September to November. It is recommended that soil samples be taken to inform lime and fertilizer application rates. Spread lime, cup number 5 at the bottom of the planting basin, and place 1 times 350 milliliters tin of compost or manure in the planting basin. Spread basal fertilizer, cup number 8, in the planting basin. Place a layer of soil over the fertilizer before seeding. Use a hoe to partly fill the planting stations with clod-free soil from the pile next to the planting station. Make sure you leave the surface lower than the ground so that water collects in the planting station. Planting should be done immediately after the first effective rains that fill the planting station and when the planting station is still moist. Effective rain is essentially defined as rain that fills the planting basin or a rainfall event of 20 millimeters for sandy soil and 30 millimeters for heavier soils. Place 3 maize seeds in an evenly spaced line in each planting station, 1 at each end and 1 in the middle of the planting station. Cover the wall with 5 centimeters of the remaining heaped soil next to the planting station, leaving a level surface. Make sure no stones or heavy clothes cover the seeds, otherwise they will not be able to push through to the soil surface. After covering the seeds, the soil should be compacted lightly to ensure good contact between seed and soil so that the seed can absorb water quickly. Apply mulch over the planting station to minimize moisture loss and drying of soil and prevent capping. Try to finish planting a field in 1 day. Leave the mulch cover intact between the planting stations. Mulching is a fundamental principle of conservation agriculture and is probably the biggest difference from conventional practice. Keeping the soil covered as much as possible, or mulching, means the spreading of crop residue like stover, dry grass and leaves, and other dead plant material on the field. Live mulch is also an option. Leave crop residue on the field after harvesting if at all possible. Cut down stalks flat and spread them out as evenly as possible. Allow livestock to graze, but grazing should be controlled so that at least 70% of surface cover remains. You can use additional dry organic material such as leaves to supplement or substitute for stover if necessary. They should also be placed on the field as early as possible in the season to buffer the soil against extreme temperatures, suppress weeds, and improve soil fertility. If necessary, stover can be removed, stored separately, and relayed at the onset of the season. In case planting rains have not been received by the expected days for that particular area, 2 liters of water can be applied per station after planting the 3 seeds. Weed plots thoroughly and on time. When mulching is done well, weeds can be effectively smoothed, and you may only need to pull out the few odd weeds that may grow through the mulch. Do winter weeding after harvesting between May and July. Winter weeding is done before planting station preparation. It may also be necessary to do pre-planting weeding immediately before planting. Do post-plant or first weeding about 2 weeks after planting. Complete weeding of the plot in 1 or 2 days. Weed before weeds flower. A second weeding may be necessary 6 weeks after planting, before top dressing. Do post-top dress weeding so that the benefits of the fertilizer go to the crop and not the weeds. Whilst weeding, stand between the rows to avoid compacting the planting stations. Weeds should be pulled out carefully or cut at the surface and not dug out. Use the wall as a cutting knife rather than a digger so as not to disturb the soil. Where herbicides are used, apply pre and post emergence herbicides as needed. Thin 2 to 3 weeks after emergence by removing the weakest seedling. Leave an average of 2 seedlings per planting station. If there are 3 plants at a station, thin to 2. If there are 2, no thinning is done. In the event of good germination, resist the temptation to leave 3 seedlings per planting station, as this will result in a lower yield. Do not transplant or gap fill. Top dress immediately after thinning using cup number 5 of AN. Make a small depression from the plant on the upper side of the slope, place fertilizer and cover. Apply second top dressing of cup number 5 AN as the crop begins to tassel. Scout for fall armyworm and stalk borer at least twice a week. Crush fall armyworm eggs and larvae. This is quite possible given the small area of the Pfumvudza plot. Treat for maize stalk borer.
Apa Pfumvudza yedu iyi inotikwanisa kutipa chikafu chinotikwanira gore rese. Tikatarisa mugore tine mawiki kana kuti masvondo anokwana kuita 52. Saka pa mutsetse mumwe chete une makomba 28 unotibudisira bhakiti rechibage. Takatarisa pamuri ine vana mamhuri a family of 6 tinoona kuti pago pamwe paweek vanoda bhakiti rimwe chete. So iyi Pfumvudza iyi iripo pakubatsira kupedza nzara pamhuri uyezve nenhaurwa yeclimate change.